All right, guys. So I'm going to show you how we absolutely revitalize or revamp performance within the first 30 days for almost every single client that we take on. We have an insane success rate. All right. So I'm going to show you exactly what we do as soon as we start managing a Google Ads account and how you can apply the same thing to either take your performance to the next level and scale or absolutely optimize your account and improve your performance, right? So, step one, we start at foundations, right? Some of these things, like you can't scale properly, or you can't even have proper performance without the foundations, because it's going to be like, when you're holding a bag and like there's a hole in it and you're putting water in it and then there's always a hole. Pretty sure there's like a saying for that, but I can't remember it right now. Anyway, right. Foundations, right? The first thing is tracking. If your Google Ads tracking is not set up correctly, you're just wasting your time at this point. You need to absolutely have um, proper tracking that's working. We apply the latest, most powerful tracking in the industry to ensure that we're feeding the account with the right data as soon as possible, right? That's how Google Ads works. The more data you feed it, the more the algorithm is going to be able to optimize, the more the algorithm has more information about who your ideal customer is, what kind of conversions are you looking for, time of day, so many different details, right? So that's the first thing, right? Second thing is obviously Google Merchant Center should be absolutely set up correctly. Your products, your feed should be working well. Your product title should be optimized to at least a decent level. Your product category, description, images, that kind of thing. Also, in terms of account settings, the amount of times that I'll start managing accounts and I'll audit them, and I just see some really interesting stuff, within account settings. For example, campaigns set up completely incorrectly. Location settings, they'll target just interest location without actually people just that are actually residing within the location. All kinds of incorrect targeting, all kinds of just spending in wrong areas, whatever. But let's just keep it at a high level here. So, like I said, in terms of foundations, you have the tracking, optimizing Merchant Center, and making sure that your account settings and your campaign settings are on point, which is what I'm going to get into, right? Right. So the second part, and that's the absolute crucial part, right? And that's where, in my opinion, you need someone who's an expert. You need someone who's an absolute wizard when it comes to numbers, data, analytics, just pure analysis, looking at different time frames, being able to identify what are the biggest levers, what caused performance to improve or deteriorate, right? You need to absolutely have this eye for being able to make decisions, and that's where sort of the best Google Ads sort of media buyers are, right? There's so many Google Ads sort of media buyers, right? And they all probably know the rules. They all understand the technical stuff, right? But for me, the real skill is in identifying when to use what rule and like when to break the rule, if that makes sense, right? And so the historical data analysis is absolutely crucial. What we do once we start managing an account is we look at so many different time frames. We look at top spending campaigns. We look at where the revenue is coming from, right? We look at where your campaigns are lacking. We also analyze your change history, which again, a lot of people are going to be lazy. They don't want to take the time to actually look at change history. We look at cause and effect. We look at what change caused what. We look at what are the causes for success and failure. We look at your best performing assets, your best performing copy, landing pages, every single detail that contributes to success in your account. We absolutely analyze that, right? And based off that, we're able to formulate the right type of account structure that enables us to revamp your performance ASAP, right? Thing is, we look at competitive research, which is absolutely crucial. So you can use something like Google Ads Transparency. There's also a number of tools as well that are paid that you can use as well, right? So we look at your top three competitors. We look at competitors within your market, sometimes even competitors within different locations as well, just so we can understand more about the industry, what's working the most for your competitors, what are the highest ranking ads, because I'll tell you what, if the ad is ranking highest, they're probably doing something right. So you want to do something similar within the copy, creative, that kind of thing. We look at the best performing copy, best performing assets, what campaign types can we leverage for this type of niche, and that gives us a better idea about the direction that we want to go in when it comes to setting up your account. The next thing is the account structure, right? Setting up the account structure is absolutely crucial. And I know I just said a lot of these things are crucial, but it is what it is, right? So when it comes to setting up the account structure, right, what a lot of agencies do is that they'll just launch a lot of different campaigns to make you feel like they're doing something. I'm completely okay in some cases with launching literally as much as two or three campaigns. I'm not even joking, right? Obviously, depending on budget and whatnot. Obviously, the more budget, the more campaigns you're able to spend. However, what I'm trying to say here is we optimize the account structure for generating revenue as fast as possible, right? And in ecom, revenue is in the shopping sort of platform. So you're talking shopping, PMax. That's usually our focus, right? You want to really start with middle and bottom of funnel, right? Why? Because you want to generate revenue, you want to generate ROAS as fast as possible, right? A lot of people, they start with search campaigns. And I know it's tempting because Google, you want to search, you want to target people that are searching for your product. Don't do that, right? Unless you have a ton of budget to spend until you optimize. For you to fully dial down a search campaign, you need thousands of negative keywords. You need to absolutely have the right keyword types. You need to split test different copy, different landing pages, things like that, right? And so, what we like to do is, like I said, we like to really optimize for really focusing on shopping and PMAX, right? Now, the question is, which is a lot of people ask me, should I run shopping in PMax? I'll be honest, you always have to test. Again, one thing that we use that often works well, PMax sort of a combination of assets and feed only, but then for other clients, shopping is working better as well, right? So again, both can work. There's people that sort of dispute that. Anyway, another thing that we focus on as well, and people need to understand that, guys, you don't need to advertise all your products. You want to focus on best sellers, and then you can have a catch-all shopping campaign with ensuring the bidding is on point so that you don't miss out on any sales from the other products. However, if you're trying to get to revenue as fast as possible, which should be your goal, you want to optimize for best sellers, right? Now, another thing to keep in mind as well is you want to limit testing as much as possible. And what does that mean, right? For example, a lot of people, when they create ads, they're going to, fill in all 15 headlines, all the descriptions, every single type of image and whatnot, right? You don't want to do that because look at how many permutations you're giving the algorithm to test, right? Instead, you're literally okay just doing like 6 titles, literally, right? And another thing, you want to make sure that you're saying something different, right? So instead of saying, I'll see so many accounts where they're actually pretty much saying the same thing, like in 4 different titles, thinking it makes a difference. And bro, like think of it from a marketing perspective, right? Think of it from a consumer psychology perspective, right? What's going to make me, buy if you're saying the same thing, right? Really want to limit testing in the beginning as much as possible, right? So that we bring the revenue in, and the more we have sort of that cushion, the more we start adding top of funnel, right? See, top of funnel is one of our biggest focus areas, right? So we start looking at YouTube, we start looking at non-branded search, we start looking at cold shopping, we start looking at demand gen, all kinds of top of funnel campaigns, right? Set campaign launch, we focus on PMAX and shopping. Use your best performing assets, guys. If you have assets that have performed well in Meta or TikTok, use those, before you start testing, thousands of assets, right? Then what happens is as you, start launching all these campaigns, there's a learning period, right? So during that learning period, you don't want to make too much changes. However, you want to absolutely make sure you keep an eye on the account and look at if there's something completely not performing, you want to pause that. Or if something's performing well, then you want to double down on that, right? That's one thing. The other thing you also want to absolutely keep an eye on is your shopping feed, right? Because that's where a lot of the money is made, is the back end, is optimizing your titles, optimizing your images, split testing different titles, duplicating your feed, so many different tricks using promotions, so many different tricks, as I mentioned, to really boost your shopping CTR, limit your cost per acquisition, and so on, right? And that's when you hit your 30-day mark. And then, at this point, you should have a significant amount of data that can allow you to do a second round of optimization. You start doing a lot of different split tests. You see, you kind of have a better feel for what's working and what's not, which products have sort of generated more interest, right? Typically, for most of our clients, as I mentioned, within 30 days, the improvement is, pretty big, I would say. Obviously, depends on so many different factors. But yeah, if you would like us to manage your ads while you relax and take care of areas of the business that you have to take care of, feel free to reach out and I'll be more than happy to get started.